minute. Who are you?
Tot Isa. Jevi Krenundis, Jemorinia Laodisis Osenis. Jevi Krenundis, Jemosit Meribelma se Boteri, se Udrazmeasi, Machan Daor. Iedereen non Machan.
It's been almost 2 years since the final episode of Game of Thrones aired, even though the controversy around the final season doesn't fade fully away. At which point did the show lost its track? To analyze it, we must start from the beginning. The show's writing and story was great from season 1 to season 4, even though it begins to lose track in the 5th and 6th season, it has many excellent moments like Battle of Bastards and Winds of Winter. But season 7 is where it really takes different path, but most viewers consider the 5th episode of the final season was the turning point, but it's not. The last 2 seasons had lesser episodes compared to the other seasons because the directors of the show was signed to direct new Star Wars trilogy in hope of saving Star Wars from disaster sequel trilogy. Another reason was the unfinished book written by George R.R. Martin. Directors were wise enough to follow the book storyline for the most part of the series. But after the series reached its limit, there was no source material to follow through. From then onwards, it struggled to maintain its legacy that the previous seasons have created. Okay, here we talk the main reasons for the failure of this legendary show. The later seasons of the show really felt inconsistent and distinguished from the earlier seasons. The great show starts slow-paced, but ends in a dramatic and satisfying way. Breaking Bad is a great example for this. The characters started to feel inconsistent in the 7th season. Tyrion's character potential was fully wasted in those seasons. The story felt rushed and empty for most of these parts, but it was engaging because the audience were eager to find where this story ends. Though most people doesn't seem to complain about 7th season. The 8th season was the worst season of this television show. There are many great television series that has a worst final season. The final season of Lost, Dexter and The Sopranos were relatively bad compared to their previous seasons. However, the same problem was with Game of Thrones also. Most complex and interesting part of Game of Thrones was the characters. Characters in this series were complex, and every character's goal was established clearly in the starting seasons. From the beginning, it was clearly established that Dany was a good and rightful ruler who would bring peace to the 7 kingdoms if she was in the Iron Throne. But the writers decided to make her the new Walter White of Game of Thrones. In which they eventually failed. In Breaking Bad, Walter White's evil-turning story progression was explained slowly from the beginning, whereas in here, she turned evil just in last season without showing any clue in the previous seasons. Her character was not only the disappointment, but also Jon Snow, Jaime, Cersei and Tyrion's character were another major disappointment.
And who has a better story than Bran the Broken?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, it was really bad. If not for the last 2 episodes, this show would have had an ending that this television series deserves. Most disappointment character conclusion was the Jaime and Cersei's arc. Seriously, they don't deserve to die like this. The ending should have focused on a battle between White Walkers and the human army, rather than focusing on this stupid plot. When we are first introduced into the show, White Walkers are the first plot shown, and it should have been the last also. Special effects and battles were also felt less interesting compared to the previous battles like Battle of Bastards. Last 2 episodes are so frustrating to watch and feels like waste of time for watching the whole series from start. Believe it or not, the legacy of this show was completely destroyed in the last season. But till date, Game of Thrones stands an iconic moment in the television history that was most watched by millions of people around the world. And surely it will be considered as one of the greatest television truly ever made. A new series has been announced, House of the Dragon. Whether the fans of the original series will come to watch this show remains a huge question. However, its legacy will continue to live on for many generations to come, just like Star Wars. Thank you for watching, and that's all for this video, and subscribe for many contents like this and stay tuned.